Hey there! Have you ever wondered what would happen if two of history's most feared and respected warriors, Mongols and samurai, met on the battlefield? Well, buckle up because this story is as intense as it gets. Let's start with the basics. The Mongols were known for their ruthless and uncompromising warfare strategies. Strategies that often meant wiping out entire cities. But they weren't just brute force, they were tactical geniuses on the battlefield. On the other hand, the samurai were disciplined warriors with a strict code of honor, known as Bushido, which emphasized values like respect, loyalty, and courage. So, when these two warrior cultures collided, not once but twice, it was a battle for the ages. It all began diplomatically. Well, for the Mongols anyway. By the late 1260s, the Mongol Empire, under Genghis Khan's grandson Kublai Khan, had become the largest contiguous land empire the world had ever seen. Kublai had already taken over Korea and was now eyeing Japan. In 1268, Kublai sent a friendly letter to Japan's ruler, Shogun Hojo Tokumune, suggesting trade partnerships. But there was a catch. The Japanese were also asked to pay tribute and recognize Kublai as their overlord. The letter ended with a mix of diplomacy and threat. "We think all countries belong to one family. Nobody wishes to resort to arms, but if you defy us, well..." Tokumune wasn't impressed. He ignored the letter. Kublai didn't like being ignored, so he sent another letter, this time full of insults. "You stupid little barbarians, how dare you not submit to us?" That didn't work either. Tokumune ignored that letter too. By 1274, Kublai had had enough. Using Korea as a staging ground, he sent a fleet of 500 to 900 ships carrying up to 40,000 soldiers toward Japan. The numbers are debated, some say it was closer to 3,000, but either way, the samurai were outnumbered. The Mongols first hit the small islands of Tsushima and Iki, wiping out the local population. Then they moved on to Hakata Bay and Kyushu. Now the samurai were brave and skilled, but they were unprepared for the Mongol style of warfare. You see, samurai followed Bushido, which included formal duels. One samurai would step forward, declare his name and rank, and challenge a Mongol warrior to a one-on-one fight. The Mongols, they had no time for that. Instead, they fired volleys of arrows, unleashed gunpowder bombs, and charged in tight formations. The samurai didn't stand a chance against those tactics. But then, nature intervened. That night, a massive typhoon, later called the Kamikaze or divine wind, struck. Mongol ships were destroyed, and thousands of soldiers drowned. The survivors limped back to Korea, defeated not by the samurai, but by the wrath of the storm. After the storm, the Japanese knew the Mongols would be back. They spent the next few years building a 12-mile-long stone wall along Hakata Bay. Kublai wasn't ready to give up. In 1276, he sent more messengers to negotiate. Tokumune had them executed. Kublai tried again in 1279, and, yep, you guessed it, the messengers were executed again. Diplomacy was officially over. In 1281, Kublai launched a second invasion, this time with an even larger force, over 4,000 ships and 140,000 soldiers. The samurai were ready, with about 40,000 defenders in their fortified wall. At first, the Mongols had trouble breaching the defenses. Samurai warriors even rowed out in small boats at night, setting Mongol ships on fire. But when the Mongol reinforcements arrived, the Japanese were outnumbered 3-1. It looked like the Mongols might finally win. And then, history repeated itself. Another Kamikaze typhoon swept through, sinking most of the Mongol fleet. Only a few hundred ships survived, and the samurai took care of any Mongols who made it ashore. Once again, the invasion was a disaster for the Mongols. For the Japanese, the Kamikaze storms became legendary. They believed they had been saved by divine intervention. These stories inspired samurai warriors for generations, becoming a source of pride and resilience. As for the Mongols, their empire began to crumble in the following decades. Meanwhile, Japan's samurai-dominated shogunate would continue to rule for centuries. One of the reasons the samurai were so respected was their unwavering commitment to Bushido. This wasn't just a battlefield code, it was a way of life. Samurai valued honor, courage, and self-discipline above all else. Interestingly, many samurai also embraced Buddhist teachings, particularly the idea of overcoming the fear of death. They believed in facing life and death with calm acceptance, a mindset that made them incredibly fearless in battle. The Mongols, on the other hand, were masters of adaptability. They conquered vast lands by incorporating the strengths of those they defeated. When Kublai took over the Song dynasty, for example, he gained control of their impressive navy. Combined with Korea's resources, the Mongols had one of the most powerful fleets of their time. Though, as we've seen, even that wasn't enough against nature. And that's the story of what happened when the Mongols and samurai faced off. It's a tale of bravery, strategy, and a little help from Mother Nature. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you have any other crazy stories about these legendary warriors? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more epic history.